All right, you know how that weekend project list just keeps growing and you see a noisy garage door hinge on there and think, hey, that's a quick win? It looks so simple, right? I mean, it's just a few bolts, but let me tell you, this is one of those home repairs that is way, way more complicated and honestly more dangerous than it looks. So, is your garage door trying to tell you something? I bet you know what I'm talking about. That awful, nails on a chalkboard grinding noise. Or maybe you've seen the door moving kinda sluggishly, or even lopsided. Yeah, that's not just a minor annoyance. Those are some serious warning signs. Your garage door is practically screaming that something's wrong. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into the signs of a failing hinge. Then we'll talk about why this DIY project is so tricky. After that, we'll get into the really important stuff, the hidden dangers. Then we'll look at what a professional does, and finally, we'll figure out your safest, smartest move. All right, first up, the signs of a failing hinge. Seriously, these are the warning signals you absolutely can't afford to ignore. So let's break these down, right? You hear that grinding or scraping? Well, that probably means a hinge pin is bent or some internal parts are just giving up. And if the door is moving all unevenly, yeah, the hinges just aren't doing their job anymore. But here's the one you really, really need to watch out for: a cracked hinge plate. If you see that, that's a massive red flag. It means that hinge is on its last legs and could fail completely at any moment. Okay, so you've spotted the problem. You're thinking, all right, I'll just run down to the hardware store, grab a new hinge. I can totally fix this myself this afternoon. And look, that's a totally understandable thought because, I mean, it really does just look like a few simple bolts. And right there, that's the trap. The logic is just so straightforward, isn't it? Unbolt the old one, bolt on the new one. Done. It feels just like any other weekend fix. But the hard truth is, the real danger here is what's hiding in plain sight, the stuff you just can't see. Which brings us to, honestly, the most important section of this whole thing: the hidden, high-stakes dangers. This is the reality that a DIYer just can't see. Let's just start with this number right here: 300 to 500 pounds. That's a lot. That's the weight of a standard garage door. To put that in perspective, that is literally like having a refrigerator or a small motorcycle just hanging over your head. The moment you remove a hinge, you're messing with the very structure that's holding up all that weight. So you might be wondering, what's stopping all that weight from just crashing down? And the answer is high-tension springs. These things are under an absolutely enormous amount of stored energy to balance that massive door. Think of it like a giant, super powerful rubber band, wound so tight it's ready to snap. When you take off a hinge, you throw that whole delicate balance out of whack. And if that energy gets released, well, it can be absolutely catastrophic. And listen, this isn't some theoretical what-if scenario. We've got a quote here from Mike over at AAA Garage Door, and he puts it plainly: springs under that kind of tension can cause real harm. This isn't about being handy with a wrench. It's about having the specialized, critical knowledge to safely manage all of that pent-up energy. So let's be crystal clear about this. Replacing a garage door hinge is not like fixing a leaky faucet. It's not like painting a room. With the kind of spring tension and the sheer weight we're talking about, your regular DIY caution and your everyday common sense, they're just not going to cut it. They are not enough to keep you safe here. Okay, so if it's that dangerous, what's the right way to do it? Well, let's take a look at what a professional actually does and see why their process is both safe and effective. This chart really says it all, doesn't it? On the DIY side, you've got guesswork about which parts to buy. On the professional side, they're making a precise identification. A DIYer is kind of fumbling with that tension and weight, while a pro has specialized tools designed to handle it. And maybe most importantly, a pro's work includes critical alignment checks, and it's all backed up by a warranty. That's a huge difference. You see, a professional's approach is super methodical. They start with a full system assessment. I mean, is the hinge even the real problem? Then they source the exact right part for your specific door. The actual removal and installation, that's done with very strict safety protocols. And they're not packing up their truck until they've done a comprehensive function and safety test to make sure the whole system is working perfectly. And it's all the little details that really matter, you know? A pro knows to unplug the opener so it can't accidentally activate. They secure the door so it physically cannot move. They work systematically, usually from the bottom up, and they use techniques like a cross pattern for tightening bolts to make sure nothing gets warped. Oh, and they're ready to handle surprises, like corroded bolts or even welded hinges, the kind of stuff that would bring your weekend project to a screeching halt.
Okay, let's wrap this all up. When you start seeing those warning signs, what is your safest, smartest move?
First things first, don't wait. Seriously, ignoring a bad hinge just puts more stress on everything else, and other parts will start to fail. That little grinding sound you hear today, that could easily become a door that's totally jammed tomorrow. And trust me, that emergency repair bill is going to be a lot higher. And you've got to remember, hiring a pro isn't just about paying someone to replace a part. It's so much more than that. You're paying for their expertise, you're paying for safety, and you're paying for peace of mind. You're making sure that the whole 500-pound system hanging over your car and your family is working exactly the way it's supposed to. So at the end of the day, it really just boils down to one simple question. When you think about the potential for serious injury or major damage to your property, and you weigh that against the cost of a professional, is saving a few bucks today really worth that kind of risk to you or your family?